What's up, gamers? Welcome to another episode of Like or Dislike, where we look at some of the latest games that's coming out, give you a little bit of the storyline about it, tell you some pros and cons, tell you about our experience, give our famous pros and cons list, and show you some gameplay all at the same time. This is Proto here, and we are looking at Earth Defense Force 5. Now, this is a game in another series that I'm a big fan of, so you're going to have to excuse my fanboy side on this one. But this is one I had definitely been looking forward to. This game was actually already released in Japan. We just finally got it here on the west side of the world, so finally got it ported over here. So I'm happy we got to get this game. But let's go ahead and get into it. In Earth Defense Force 5, this game in the series predates all the previous ones. And they changed a few names of the enemies and actually showed how Storm Team was created in this one. Now, there's some new features and changes in the series which I think was long needed and muchly needed, but they still kept the craziness and the cheesiness of this game still the same. So if you have been a fan of this series, you have none to worry about. At the core of what this game is still the same, so you will still like it. Now, in this installment, you're working as a civilian in an EDF base when the world's attacked by aliens called primers, and so the Ravagers this time, using giant insects, robots, and then eventually them themselves. It's one of the very few ones when we actually see actual aliens. You don't actually just fight just robots and insects in this one, so that's one of the changes in it. You get saved by a squad and eventually join the EDF, helping stop the invasion and helping form Storm Team, which I thought was pretty cool to see. Now, as usual, you can play the game solo or online up to three other characters. You still got all four of the same usual characters. You got the Ranger, the overall character. You got the Air Raider, which was always the support character. You got the Wing Dabbler, which was light armor but with heavy weapons, like a lot of devastating power with their weapons. And then you had the Fencer, which was the heavy one that could always dual wield but move real slow. Now, some of the changes they have made in this game, some I've already mentioned. One of the major changes is if you get multiple weapons of the same kind, all the extras of that same weapon, they rank up your base weapon stats. So the weapon's destructive power, the capacity of it, its reload time, all of it can be upgraded if you start picking up more of that same weapon, which I thought was pretty cool because throughout the game, if you played in the previous games, you always picked up the same weapon probably 10-20 times. So all you really had to worry about was if it was a higher level weapon. But with this, that makes a difference. So if you have a weapon that you really like from the beginning, as long as you keep picking up a lot of that same weapon, you can rank up that base weapon and it becomes very destructive. Now, another change they made is if you lose a level, you get to keep some of the loot you got instead of losing it all, which I thought was pretty cool. Because sometimes if you grind to get everything on the map and you end up dying, you lost all that. But now you get to keep some of it, and depending on the difficulty, you get to keep certain amounts. You know, if you do it on easy, I think you get 100. You do it on hard, you get to keep half of it. If you do any harder than that, you get to keep a quarter, so you don't get to keep any of it. So remember, based on your difficulty will tell you how much gear you get to keep, and they actually tell you how much you acquire and how much you get to keep every time you lose a level. So I thought that was pretty nice. And now you can actually equip support equipment, which can give you an extra little boost depending on the classes you're playing with. Can make you move faster, can make you acquire things faster. And another one, especially like if you're playing as a Ranger, you can actually call in vehicles. And previously only the Air Raider could call in vehicles, but now as a Ranger, for example, you can actually call in certain vehicles. So depending on the level, I would call in a tank or call in a bike or call in a power exoskeleton, which is like a fighting robot. And that definitely made a big difference when you was fighting the enemies. Now, when it comes to fighting the enemies, this game is all about destruction with crazy weapons and huge amounts of enemies on the map. There are a few times there was a frame rate drop, but overall they stay pretty much smooth, even when you have 1,000 enemies coming towards you. Now, the graphics are updated and there is a more detail on the characters, and all this that you guys are seeing is being captured on a PS4 Pro. Now, this has never been a game that's been big on like overall detail on everything. Like, they detail the characters, they detail the buildings some, but it's just the picture of it, just the destructiveness of it, the weapons, the explosions, the devastation. That is what this game is known for. So I'm glad to see all that. Now, this time they give a squad that this time the squad that saved you, they give them a little personality, but they're still cheesy, which will make you laugh a lot of times. There are several times when they're just having conversations and like you can tell they tried to give them their own personalities, and it's funny in a way, like it works sometimes, and sometimes it just didn't work, and it's funny. But that's pretty much overall the game. And with that being said, let's jump into the pros versus the cons. And we're going to start off with the pros. The first pro we're going to look at, with all these changes, in my opinion, they are very good changes. It brings a different level to the game. It gives you a reason for playing this one. Because like I said, with all these changes, it actually makes the core of the game, in my opinion, a lot better. It makes you want to play it more, makes you want to replay it a lot, especially if you're trying to unlock all the weapons or you're trying to get all the gear for a certain class. The second part we're going to look at, the variety of weapons and the challenging is still great. Even with everything that's going on in this series, they still come out with weapons that just act so different, that work so different, and just a challenge of it. I mean, certain times, even just playing it on normal can be extremely hard. Then you playing it on hard and it's just like, what the crap? But that's what I like about this game. Just playing it on the basic level sometimes, or just playing it on a higher level, makes it really challenging. Like at some points you really have to plan out which weapons you're going to use on this map based on what enemies you're going to fight and how you're going to actually fight them, which I always liked about this game. And the last pro we're going to look at the end, the core of this game is still the same. The same still cheesiness of it, the craziness, the destruction, the variety of weapons. Like I said, the core, that's what makes this game. And that's why this game has pretty much been turned into a cult classic. And that's why people are still big fans of this game. So with that being said, let's jump at the cons. Now, the first one we're going to look at is controls. And I had to specifically say the controls for the PS4 for this one, because this one was not released on Xbox or Steam, well, at least not over here on the west side of the US. Previous versions were done on Xbox and Steam. Like last one I played, 4.1, I've actually played that on Steam using the Xbox control, and the controls for Xbox One was very smooth. This one with the controls, it can be a little bit clunky, especially with the pad on the PS4. You can accidentally roll across it and you can be giving out commands and you don't mean to. And sometimes the controls, just the way that they're set up, it's kind of a little junky. But it all is only. Now you can customize them, which helps out, but overall I don't think the controls are set up good for the PS4 control. The next con we're going to look at, now at the core this game is great to me, but it's extremely repetitive. You're pretty much doing the same thing in every level. You're killing enemies, you're destroying the area. Well, you're trying not to destroy the area, but you end up destroying it. And that's pretty much it. Get on the map, destroy the enemies. Get on the map, destroy the enemies. Get on the map, destroy the enemies. That's pretty much every level. Now, you got 100 levels of doing this over a wide range of areas, from urban cities to the beach to mountains to underground. But at the core, it's still the same. So I can see that turning off a lot of people. And the last con we're going to look at, this game is a download only. And I know with certain people in certain areas, they might have data restrictions. So keep that in mind. Unfortunately, this is, like I said, it's only an online, so you can only download it. They didn't do a physical copy. Because like I said, this is just a port. This is a Japanese port, so they usually don't do a lot of physical copies unless it's a really well known that people want it on this side of the world too. But that's pretty much the pros and the cons. At the end of this day, I have to give the game a like, especially with the changes they made with this game. If it was still pretty much the same game, I'm not gonna lie, I probably wouldn't have got a like, because there wasn't no changes to it. There wasn't really nothing that made it stand out. But with the changes they made in this one, it makes it stand out from all the other previous Earth Defense Forces. And I hope with these changes they implement it in the ones they do in the future. Now they've got another one coming out soon called Iron Rain. That one's set to release in 2019. Now I did a trailer reaction on it, so I'll leave a cue card that you guys can look at the end if you want to catch a look at the trailer. And that one's set to release on this side of the world, so I definitely plan on picking up that one too. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Are you a fan of this series? Do you like this installment? Do you like the changes they made? Have you never played this game? Seeing this review, does it make you interested? Do you like these type of games? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you haven't already subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We post videos of things going on in the gaming and tech world. We do reviews on some of the latest games coming out, review tech that's out to help make sure you're getting the most for your money. We do top 10 of the newest games coming out every month and so much more. Make sure to follow us on our Facebook and our IG page so you can keep up to date with what's going on with us here at the Average Gamer Crew. Or if you want to reach out to me or InfamouslyTy here on the channel. And if you want to let us know something going on in the gaming and tech community. Catch us streaming on Twitch and Mixer. You can catch me on Mixer every Monday and Wednesday and Twitch every Tuesday and Thursday. This is Proto. I'll catch you guys in the next video.